governance, the bank is incorporated as a company, and therefore it's managed by an independent board of directors that reports to the shareholders. Our board members are independent and they are non-executive. I think I'm the only executive member of the board, but the rest are non-executive and they are independent. And of course, being that a public institution, you're accountable to Parliament, and if called, we would report to us. Let's say after the Director General has reviewed our accounts on an annual basis, and therefore, obviously, the responsibility for our statutory audit is the Director General. But the Director General also says this to one of the big 4 accounting firms in the country. So, in terms of the legal regime, we are under the Companies Act. So, the bank is run like a company. We run it like a business. And of course, there are key documents in terms of governance is the Memorandum and Articles of Association, which sets the objectives of the bank, basically define the mandate of the bank. In terms of our independence, regulation checks what we are doing to make sure that we are doing what is right. In the case of the commercial banks, you realize they are supervised by the central bank, they are regulated. UDBL is not yet regulated by the central bank, but there are prudential standards which were developed by the World Bank and the African Development Bank just to make sure that national development banks on the continent can also be run prudently. So we often check our performance against these standards on an annual basis, and then we're given a rating depending on how we are performing. And in terms of key ratings and awards, we are also rated by Fitch. Fitch is an international credit rating agency. And yes, just for us to also have comfort and give our stakeholder comfort that the bank is run prudently, we thought we would undertake this process and get an external person to check what the bank is doing. And for the last 3 years since we started this process, we have been rated B+, the same rating as the sovereign. I think UDBL is the second bank to actually be rated by Fitch in the country, second to Stanbic Bank. So our IC ratings have also been A+, we are rated best performing DFI on the continent, and this is because our ratings are good in terms of governance, operational aspects, and financial performance. Those are the 3 key standards. And then in terms of, again, transparency, in line with good corporate governance, we participate in the Financial Reporting Awards, which is a process where our Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, where they review and encourage proper financial reporting in terms of transparency. And again, we're happy to note that every time we subject ourselves to this process, we actually compete with these awards with some of the top banks like Stanbic and Centenary in terms of the quality, transparency of our reporting and our work. Now, I thought it's also useful to just give a brief historical background of UDBL. As mentioned, this bank was established in 1972, and during that time, okay, I've just realized the presentation. Okay, but it's fine. So the bank was established in 1972 as a decree. In terms of governance, the bank